All right, so good good morning to our panelists. This is our video and our presentation on mitigating security risks and credit union fraud in Jamaica by the use of remote payment mechanism in conjunction with COVID-5. So our group members are Malik McLean, Omario Harrison, Daniel Chambers, Alexander McIntosh, and this is an overview of what we'll be going through our presentation. So starting off with chapter one, introduction. So credit unions were small financial institutions in the 1850s in Germany to aid those lacking access to financial services, the opportunity to borrow from savings pooled by themselves and their fellow members. In the Caribbean, where credit unions have a 65% penetration rate, leaders of those institutions have been coping with economic and governance challenges presented by COVID-19. COVID-19 has caused its last and new challenge to all institutions worldwide. So according to Rodriguez, in an article entitled COVID-19 Response Committee Assesses Worldwide Credit Union Challenges published in 2020, common potential needs of credit unions include better financial stabilization plans, digital transformation, greater access to payment system networks, financial education, and better advocacy efforts. So our problem statement is small financial institutions in Jamaica, like credit unions, have difficulty pivoting to secure online and mobile platforms during the pandemic. So the purpose of this research is to evaluate the implementation of a web credit union application that is COVID-5 compliant. The area of focus will be primarily on the use of control objectives for information and related technology, otherwise known as COBIT, in achieving this as it addresses the information security duties required to keep systems secure. So research questions are, to what extent can COVID-5 principles aid in the effective implementation of a secure credit union web application in Jamaica? To what extent, or second one would be, to what extent can implementation of COVID-5 compliant credit union web application assist in the reduction of risk of internal fraud? So for this research, the study will help educate credit unions staff to gravitate towards the new advanced technology framework of a COVID-5 compliant web application, which includes both improved security and increased efficiency in the new business model to survive during the COVID-19 pandemic, which will further generate more financial gains and create a lower risk profile. So the limitations. In this research, information security management were delimited. IT security management is concerned with making decisions to mitigate risk. Governance determines who is authorized to make decisions. And additionally, IT management ensures that controls are implemented to mitigate these risks. Management recommendations, security strategies, and intends to guarantee the availability, integrity, and confidentiality of an organization's data, information, and IT services. So moving forward to chapter 2, I'll turn over to my other group member. Go on.
Good morning, panelists. I'll be doing the literature review. All right, what is COBIT? COBIT stands for Control Objective for Information and Related Technology. It is a framework created by the ISACA for IT governance and management. It was designed to be a supportive tool for managers and allows bridging the crucial gap between technical issues, business risks, and control requirements. COBIT at origination was originally conceptualized with a focus on auditing in the era of information technology in 1996. The scope has evolved over years. In its latest release, COBIT 5 of 2012, the scope and focus is on holistic governance and management of enterprise IT. This most recent edition provides for an end-to-end business view of the governance of enterprise IT that reflects the central role of information and technology in creating value for enterprise. According to ISACA, COVID-5 provides a comprehensive, holistic framework that helps enterprises to achieve their goals and deliver value through effective governance and management of enterprise IT. COVID-5 builds and expands on COVID 4.1 by integrating other major frameworks, standards, and resources, including ISACA, VAL IT, and RISC IT, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, and related standards from the International Organization for Standardization, like ISO 38500, Corporate Governance of IT. Governance and management are the two main features that are needed by COVID-5 to ensure that all five principles are met within an organization. The five principles of COVID-5 include meeting the stakeholders' needs, covering the enterprise end-to-end, applying a single integrated framework, enabling a holistic approach, separating governance from management. Additionally, COVID-5 has been improved to assist enterprise in the following areas. Assure information is accurate to support business decisions, achieve strategic goals by using IT assistance, maintain operational excellence by using technology efficiently, keep IT-related risks at an acceptable level, optimize IT services and technology, in addition to maintaining compliance with relevant laws and regulations. COVID-5 versus other frameworks. Indeed, no other framework only focuses on enterprise IT while offering numerous business objectives. Moreover, it contains the best idea in enterprise governance and management techniques. On the other hand, it integrates other frameworks in order to cover more whole enterprise activities such as PMBOK and Prince2 for the project management, ITEL for the management of system information, COGAF for IT architecture, COSO for the internal control, and the ISO standards. All right, that's
Good
the
day,
end.
panelists.
Methodology. This chapter describes the research methodology applied to this study. The research methods and procedures that were used will be explained, as well as the data collection instruments along with their limitations. The study requires an understanding of information technology governance frameworks to identify how efficient the introduction of COVID-5 is toward reducing enterprise risk in credit unions in Jamaica. The research design employed by this project is applied science. Applied research was the step in the research life cycle in which we understood how well we use our knowledge to engineer a system to solve a pressing problem and generate predictable outcomes. This method allows the gathering of in-depth data while allowing meaningful interpretation of the data and the solution being evaluated. This method also applies both qualitative and quantitative research methods. Next slide. The population sample. The targeted population for this research will include individuals that work in credit unions within Jamaica. The total sample size of this research is 10, in which all should work within the credit union environment. The sampling methods. Random sampling methods were applied to this research to obtain applicants for the questionnaires to provide an unbiased representation of the total population. Procedures for data collection. Data collection procedures were achieved by showing the prototype to the individuals adhering to the COVID-19 practices. The questionnaire distribution. A Google form was used to distribute the questionnaires in which the link had a brief title and description of the study. In addition, the data collection was open for 2 weeks to allow responses. Data analysis. The information collected from the questionnaire were presented using graphs and charts in addition to being discussed. Ethical consideration. The researchers guaranteed the honesty and security of the information gathered by adhering to the University of Technology Jamaica research policies, as well as by implementing several measures. Initially, content must be agreed on before participation in the study. Participants were also given full knowledge of the research being conducted. It was ensured that no identifying information was shared in the questionnaire and stored in a Google account with only researchers having access. The tools and resources used. The tools and resources used in the successful deployment of this application include Visual Studio Code, Laravel, Composer Aids, Microsoft SQL Server, FileZilla Client, XAMPP Control Panel, GitHub, and cPanel namespace. Application development setup environment. Visual Studio Code, Laravel Composer, XAMPP Control Panel, and SQL Server were used in the development, and they hosted the website locally, developed and performed SQL operations. Furthermore, FileZilla was used to upload the website onto the cPanel file manager and then online. Next slide. After the successful uploading, the credit union system online and is accessible to everyone with the link. All right, so here we have the features that the credit union banking application currently have. As you can see, the seller supervisor or manager interface has the bank deposit, payment methods, manage withdrawal, investor management, customer support, deposit management, complete deposit, fixed deposit. They have the ability to view dashboards, loan management, loan requests, request approval. Moving on. The administrator interface includes viewing dashboard, user management, support, role assignment, and verification of user. The user interface consists of the view of client dashboard, transfer, e-currency transfer, fixed deposit, loan history, loan package, bill history, bill request, account statement, transaction history, account settings, e-deposit, and support. Seller interface. The view of seller interface, you have the dashboard, manage withdrawal, view all transactions, manage bills, deposits, fixed deposit, bank deposits, and support. Compatibility. The system is compatible with any device that can be connected to the internet for the client side of the website. For seller supervisor, manager, and administrator, all required to be accessed on a local network which the bank owns. Data storage and retrieval. The data retrieval of the system is displayed into a user-friendly dashboard based on who is using the system. The data is all stored in a SQL database, which can only be accessed by using the cPanel password, where the database is stored securely. During the development phase, data utilized in the web application will be stored in a secure secure password SQL database in which credentials will be hashed to ensure information is kept secure.
All right, so one may ask why COVID-5 was chosen for creating a credit union web application, and how does this web application applies to COVID-5. So COVID-5 was chosen for this application because it is almost a monopoly in terms of governance and management. Indeed, no other framework only focuses on enterprise IT while offering numerous business objectives. So moreover, it contains the latest idea of enterprise governance and management techniques, and other integrates other frameworks in order to cover more whole enterprise activities. So secondly, COVID-5 has a process reference model, meaning that stakeholder needs are transformed into specific goals and into IT-related goals, and finally towards enabler goals that define concrete IT processes. In other words, it allows an alignment to enterprise needs with detailed IT activities. So here's a diagram from where stakeholder drivers, those with environment, technology, and evolution, which influence stakeholder needs. This is basically the cycle of which stakeholder drivers get turns out into IT-related goals and into enabler goals. So stakeholder drivers are environmental factors, as what was stated in the previous slide on the diagram. Factors, technology, and the need for evolution are what brings stakeholder needs. So in our project, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused losses of credit union in Jamaica, also the transformation of business process with the aid of the transformation of technology, those would be the stakeholder needs. The prototype was drafted and created to solve these issues, that is to have a secure system that can perform most business processes online to minimize the risk of the pandemic and for ease of access. So stakeholder needs are to be related to enterprise goals. These goals are weighted and prioritized for implementation. However, this prototype includes the basic functions of what a daily credit union would do on a daily basis, to name a few: loan management and deposits. So enterprise goals cascade to IT-related goals are achieved in our project by having a system that has role-based features for security purposes, activity log tracking, transaction tracking, achieving business goal processes that are necessary, all of which is done securely. So here's so above shows the IT-related goals cascade to enabler goals taken from COVID-5 implementation. So which is basically checking to see if the solution that was done is feasible, to see if the stakeholder goals are, if they actually make sense for an IT development. So above, this shows the explanation of all processes working together to create an execution cycle to create IT goals. So COVID-5 principles that relates back to our project, all 5 of them did relate back. So meet stakeholder needs. This was done in our prototype by using the stakeholder drivers to create stakeholder needs and then evaluate them to see the best outcomes. So covering the enterprise end-to-end, COVID-5 covers all business processes that will take place in our prototype and its IT functions. So applying a single integrated framework, COVID-5 was the chosen framework because of its implementation, because of its governance and management and IT functionality. So enabling a holistic approach, this was achieved in our prototype by taking into consideration the components that interact, such as services, infrastructure, applications, people skills, and competencies. Separating governance and management, which was done by using the enablers model. So turning over to other group member for our findings for chapter 4.
Good day. I'm Alexander McIntosh. I'll be doing the findings, and from the research carried out by the group, the following findings were made. Question 1 asks, based off the prototype that is shown of a mobile application using COVID-5, what goals have the prototype met? In this bar graph, all 10 respondents agreed that the prototype met the goal to reduce data security risks. 5 respondents chose that the prototype had better tracking of the performance of IT, also improved service delivery, among other. The least voted was monitoring return on investment, only being selected by 2 respondents. Question 2 asked, with internal risks and frauds such as loan fraud, embezzlement, failure to follow procedures, limits, and misuse of confidential information. How would COVID-5 aid in mitigating these activities? From the pie chart above, right here, it depicts the analysis of how COVID-5 is in mitigating fraudulent activities. With a multiple choice question, single answer, where it can be seen that 4 respondents chose very likely. Also, 4 respondents chose moderately likely, both having 40%. The remaining 2 respondents chose neither likely nor unlikely, having 20%. Question 3 asks, credit unions in the Caribbean, including Jamaica, according to COVID-19 response committee, assesses worldwide credit union challenges are facing with digital transformation. Furthermore, with technology, it streamlines processes and automates business activities. Will a new business model involving a mobile application better improve productivity, decision making, and encourage economic growth? From figure 3, the pie chart was shown to depict that 60% of the respondents selected moderately likely, that's 6 out of 10, with the remaining 40 being shared, 30 and 10 very likely, and neither likely nor unlikely, respectively. Question 4, how interested are you in an application that provides digital transformation, also integrating a security framework that is COVID-5, which aids in business processes and aids in mitigating fraud risks? The pie chart shows that 40% of the respondents stated that they were very interested. The remaining 60% of votes were shared evenly between extremely interested and interested, 30-30. Question 5, which of the following would be a key benefit of IT governance in your organization? The bar graph represents this question, and it shows that all 10 respondents selected better security, 100%. 7 chose greater use of technology, 70%. 3 chose responsiveness of IT, 30%, and improved communication and improved system monitoring had 1 vote, 10%. Now, question 6 and question 7 are both qualitative questions they ask, is there any other feature you would like to see in a mobile application for credit union? These are the answers that were provided. No, some were satisfied, and a feature could add it to be set a saving goal. Live support chat feature. 2-factor authentication could be added. The system could add and selection customer to see the latest updates on the credit union. Question 7, based on the prototype shown, what issues do you think could arise while using the mobile application? From the responses, older users may find it hard to understand the graphical data on the dashboards. The system seems easy to use, no known issue. That means they're satisfied. Some customers may find the system challenging due to the amount of features it currently has. No issues. Gradual involvement of older population. And that would be it for the findings. Oh, sorry. Question 8. To what extent can COVID-5 principles aid in effective implementation of a secure credit union mobile application in Jamaica? 4 responses: can enable a secure system through the use of an integrated security and governance approach. This framework can assist and improve monitoring of business processes, can empower a safe framework using an incorporated security and administration approach. Last, the system can aid further develop observing of business measures. We'll move on to chapter 5.
Good afternoon, my name is Omari Harrison. And I will be going over the conclusion and recommendations. Next slide. So the need for governance and management of enterprise IT is without a doubt undisputed, and so too should be the choice of frameworks to use. The COVID-5 framework, there is a practical and available means to govern and manage information and technology. Next slide. In this research, the researchers sought to understand to what extent they sought to discover typo in the to what extent can COVID-5 principles aid in the effective implementation of secure credit union web application in Jamaica? To what extent can the implementation of COVID-5 compliant credit web application assist in the reduction of the risk of internal fraud? As it relates to our research question, the results from our questionnaire aided us in regards to gaining much needed insight as it relates to the implementation of a proposed COVID-5 web application for the Jamaican Credit Union. Next slide. According to question one of our questionnaire, when the question was asked about our proposed prototype in regards to the goals that have been met, the following responses were recorded: the optimization of costs and resources, the reduction of data security risk, and more control over IT were stated by our respondents, as 0% stating not applicable. So with this said, it shows that the respondents are in agreement with the features of the prototype that has been offered as it relates to the security of your system. Question two went on to further expound upon how the COVID-5 web app would assist in regards to the reduction of risk and fraud by asking the question, would COVID-5 aid in mitigating these activities, which is a return of 40% very likely and 40% moderately likely, as the responses with a 0% response rate as it relates to the option very unlikely. An important aspect and go back. Yeah. An important aspect and a distinguishing feature of COVID-5 for risk is that it provides 20 risk scenario categories to help organizations better mitigate risk. Those risk scenarios can then be used to guide and direct risk management activities. Next slide. Recommendation. Considerations must be made in regard to building a broader community of experts and involve them in thought leadership. Next one. Partner with internal and external organizations to go deeper in areas of expertise, and also organizations that go outside the traditional areas of the focus of COVID. In regards to the conclusions, based on responses from the questionnaire, it can be stated that the utilization of COVID-5 can be used to minimize fraud and internal risk. The proposed prototype has been proven to reduce data security risk. In chapter 5.
That would be the end of our presentation.